Hello and welcome to the Red Wagon Estate Planning and Elder Law Show, hosted by me, yours truly, Jeffrey Bellomo, where we discuss all things estate planning and elder law, and well, hey, anything else we want to talk about. And I am joined today by a very dear friend of mine, Sean Crowley. Sean, how you doing today?
Good, Jeff. How about yourself?
Oh, doing really well. I'm very excited for this. So for my listeners who have been listening to the podcast, just a quick disclaimer, please remember not to take any advice that you take from this show, or any other show for that matter, to constitute legal advice. If you need legal advice in a specific situation, please contact an attorney in your state that is licensed, that also works specifically in the area that you are looking for. This show is for entertainment and informational purposes only and shall not constitute legal advice. So please, if you're looking for information and you're in the state of Pennsylvania, we would love to give you that advice. The phone number to the office is 717-845-5390. That's 717-845-5390. Or check us out on the web, www.bellomoassociates.com. At Bellomo Associates, we offer free educational workshops in pre-planning, crisis planning, special needs planning, as well as probate and trust administration, and are able to offer those workshops on a regular basis. But also, we have links and offer live Zoom to accommodate you from the comfort of your home. If you have any of those types of questions, please give the office a call, and we will definitely provide that information and get you enrolled in our workshops. All right. Well, Sean, tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and the name of your company, man.
Thank you. First, I want to say thank you, Jeff, for the opportunity to be on your podcast. We're very excited about this. The company, I'm based out of Collegeville, Pennsylvania, licensed in 12 states, actually 13 states now. I specialize in retirement income planning, work with estate planning on the insurance financial side, and help folks with their Medicare and long-term care planning. So, which brings me to who we are, or who I am. I am Sean Crowley, founder of Stonehenge Advisor Group, LLC, based out of Collegeville, Pennsylvania, and we are all things retirement.
I like that, all things retirement. How'd you get into all things retirement, just to use your word there? What got you into the financial industry?
It started out really as a pet peeve. I think I found that earlier on, when I was meeting with clients, the women did not have a voice. It seemed like the husbands were pretty much pulling the strings and making all the financial decisions. And what I found was, interestingly enough, I was an area director for an organization. They're now called, we didn't do the trust, but we worked with attorneys who did the trusts, and I was working the state. I was the area director, so I was working with my advisors, and in some cases I was running my own cases. And what I found was I was settling a lot of estates on the financial side, filing the death claims, filling out the claim forms for like the life insurance or the annuities, the investments, and getting that stuff buttoned up. And what was interesting and sad and very disturbing was the women were clueless. They were They were like, they didn't understand what their husbands did, why they did it, and frankly, in some of the cases, they were destitute. They had been spent down to almost nothing, because they were taking care of their husbands. Okay. That brought me to using the platform education. And that's what attracted me to you guys was you put education first. An educated client is an informed client, but it's, more often than not, it's going to be a loyal client because you take the time to talk to them, to find out what keeps them up at night, what their goals and objectives are. And sometimes you have to be tough. You have to have tough love. Most people that I meet with, they don't know. They think they have a budget, but they
Right.
don't. Hence,
Oh,
that's where the bucket plan came in, the bucket strategy. Okay, comes in where we actually sit down, and it's a process. So we're product agnostic. So the intent there is to basically create a very simple or very complex financial plan for that individual. Okay,
wow.
which does incorporate healthcare planning, meaning I'm talking about Medicare planning. Okay,
Right.
but also
Okay.
addressing long-term care needs. Okay.
And if a listener was trying to find more information about your educational workshops, how would they learn when you're offering them and where they're located?
Um, well, building the website. Well, I have a website. The website is mysaferetirementsolutions.com.
I
There
like
is
it.
there is a calendar link on the website. There are downloads on the website. 10. Um, I forget what the title of the book is now, but I can look it up before we get off. 10 best retirement strategies or something like that. You can
Yeah.
download it. You can download
Very
it.
good.
It's an ebook.
And is
I
there a
have
link on your site for that?
Yes, yes.
All
It's
right.
right on the homepage of the website. You can actually book a call with me if you wanted to just have a conversation. Okay. Um, the workshops, primarily in the libraries. I mean, I know you and we're doing a workshop at Penn State Great Valley in September. I think it's 3 or 4 parts. We're starting out with the bucket plan, and then we're doing the blueprint together. Or you're actually doing the blueprint. I'm more or less just sitting there like a fly on the wall. But
Yes.
um, the workshops are pretty much publicized through on the website, but they're also through venues like this, like a podcast, word of mouth. There's publications that go out from the libraries to schools
Wow.
that actually they actually do the marketing. And in some cases, if I feel inclined, I'll do a direct mail piece. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
But education is a real important component. We actually, like you with the blueprint, I actually take them the last 2 parts of the 4-part workshop. The 4-part
Right.
workshop is called Baby Boomers Retirement Roadmap. So we break it into pieces, where the first one is Social Security planning, okay, minimizing taxes, okay, and the second one is Medicare. So I go through Medicare basics, okay, and the third workshop is retirement planning. So to kind of introduce you to, what retirement planning is all about. We talk about the income for life model, which is pretty much what the bucket plan is about. It's a
Okay.
structured, process-driven approach to financial planning, where you're taking a holistic approach and you're product agnostic. So products don't even come in until after you actually have identified the needs, the goals, the objectives, and you identify what their income is and identify any shortfalls or gaps so you can head that off at the pass. We also talk about some tax planning too. We're not giving tax advice. We do
Right.
I do refer my clients out to attorneys like yourself, to accountants that part of my vetted network, okay, of trusted advisors in those areas. So the approach is holistic. I mean, we don't want to say we're holistic. We want to be holistic.
Right.
Okay? So
And if you were talking to somebody who knows nothing about sort of Medicare and long-term care, what would be your Reader's Digest version of what that means, what that is, just generally to somebody who really doesn't understand?
well, first of all, may I give them my phone number?
Of course, yeah, and I'm going to ask for that as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, give your website and your phone number.
Yeah. The website is www.mysaferetirementsolutions.com.
Yep.
The phone number is area code 610-287-4869.
Very cool.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome.
I guess simply there's two approaches. Okay, there's
Okay.
the old method of long-term care. Okay,
Right.
I'm approaching it, Jeff, not from the legal side. I'm approaching it from the insurance side. Okay,
Of course.
So-
And the same, just for my listeners, I am not licensed in any way. There's no commissions or anything between Sean and I or any other advisor for that matter. So absolutely, that's a great point. And I just want to be clear, I too am not anything to do with financial products. I just happen to really like the long-term care hybrids and the things, and that's why I'm asking the question. So thank you for the clarification, Sean.
And the other thing too is to follow suit with Jeff is when I refer my clients to my network of lawyers or the accountants, there's no conflict of interest. We're very clear about that. We're not Stonehenge Advisor Group through Stonehenge Advisor Group or Sean Crowley. We're not comped in any way, shape, or form. Okay, we're just trying to do what's in the best interest of the client. Okay, so with that being said, there's the old version, old method of the long-term care, which basically, up until recently, from let's say 2000 to 2022, you roughly had around 125 companies, insurance companies, in that long-term care arena, selling the old long-term care model, selling on the old long-term care model. Now today, there's only a handful that are actually around doing that. And the problem with the old model, which is the second issue, is that the premiums they continually increase based on your age. Okay.
Right.
What we're finding and what we're seeing, I just had one. In fact, I don't remember if this gentleman and his wife attended the workshop. I think the workshop that we did a couple months back together. And I'm seeing this a lot lately, is the insurance companies, the long-term care companies, they're giving you a buyout. They want you to settle.
Yeah, they want you out of there, right?
Frankly, they want the long-term care off their books. Okay?
Yes.
Or they want you to lapse your policy, which is not a good plan. Okay, so I find that the hybrid model is I love that hybrid model. Okay, because it addresses and protects your assets from spend down. It provides you with the necessary income, and you have options and you have control. Whereas the old model, it was a use it or lose it type of a model. Whereas if you never used it, you lost it. Okay?
Yep.
So you paid, and it's like the insurance company. You don't use it, you die, and the insurance company says thank you very much. Okay.
Yep.
Whereas,
and they won.
Yeah. And whereas the on the new model, it goes back into the estate, which is what I think is attractive to. I can't speak for you, Jeff. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think that's one of the attractive things to the estate planning and the overall attorneys is that it does go back into the estate. It's not a use it or lose it type of thing.
Exactly. It is. Yeah. The fact that it pays out as a life insurance policy and the estate doesn't lose everything that they paid in. And and are there riders, Sean, on those that you can get to provide care in the home?
Yes. They're not really sold because it increases the cost. And let me be very clear, in most cases, what I'm finding more often than not, Jeff, it's more of a 10 pay, and you might use a two-step process, or it's a lump sum, okay, where it's a single pay. And let me clarify what that is. With the two-step process, and it's a two-step process, there's two ways to approach it, okay?
Okay.
On some of the hybrid models, they have what's called the single pay. What they're doing is, especially if it's qualified money, and for people who don't know what qualified money is, qualified money is basically IRA money. You haven't paid tax on that money. What's beautiful about this that meets the under the qualification of hybrid under the Pension Protection Act is well, you probably know the law better than I do, Jeff, as far as the qualifications of that. So I don't want to get into that, but essentially what they're doing is it has to meet the certain qualifying tests to meet that hybrid standard and
Right.
qualify for the tax benefits and tax advantages under the IRS codes. But again, I'm not giving tax or legal advice here. But that two-step single process, what I affectionately call it, is it's a single pay. Well, let's just say, for example, you had $100,000. Okay, you could put that into a whole life policy. So they're either
Right.
on a whole life policy or they're on an annuity chassis. Okay.
Yep.
So, and it's got to be fixed. It's got to be safe money, what we call safe money. It can't be a variable annuity, or it can't be on a mutual funds or anything like that. It's got to be. That's one of the qualifiers to meet those standards. So you buy the whole life policy. You put $100,000 into the whole life policy, but you don't have $100,000.
Right.
So now what you're doing is you can put $10,000 a year into that. They purchase what's called well, I'm sorry. That's part of the two-step process. I'm getting ahead of myself. With that single pay, what they're doing is the lump sum. It's $100,000. With that $100,000, they're actually doing a 10 pay for you to mitigate the tax. So it's kind of a backdoor walk. They're taking the $10,000 of the $100,000 qualified money, and they're purchasing. It's going into a SPIA. So initially, it's
Yep.
funding the SPIA, a single premium immediate life annuity. That $10,000 is coming out of that immediate annuity and purchasing the whole life policy. That whole life policy is funding that long-term care. Okay?
Right.
The other approach is you just simply purchase with a single pay. You just simply purchase the whole life policy, and that you get a 1099, and you
Right.
get hit lump sum. They whack you to $100,000, goes into your income base, and you pay the tax. Okay.
Yep.
So that's that approach, and that can be either with qualified or non-qualified money in that scenario. The other two-step process is where we're using what's called a fixed indexed annuity.
Okay.
So basically, with that model, what you're doing is you're doing the same thing. The $100,000 is going into the fixed indexed annuity. That fixed indexed annuity has riders. Generally, they come with what's called a free lifetime income rider. Okay? So what's beautiful about that, or what's interesting about that approach is, in some cases you have what's called a bonus that's added to that. So essentially you put in $100,000 and they might have a 10 or 15% bonus on that, so you're $115,000 right out of the gate in that scenario. That $15,000 or whatever you're funding that is coming out of the indexed annuity. You're drawing that out. So basically you're taking a systematic withdrawal. You're setting that up so that it's systematically coming out to pay the premiums on that whole life policy every year, and you're 10 paying that way. Okay. At the end of that 10-year cycle, because Pennsylvania uses what's called the 10-10 model, it can't be more than 10% surrender charge. It can't be more than a 10-year surrender window. That surrender charge is a vanishing surrender charge. Okay. Vanishing surrender schedule. So it might go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 down to 0. Okay. It's still basically, if you never use it, it still goes back into the estate. Both
Right.
of those types of models. What's nice about that, at the end of the 10 years, I just did one for a client of mine. She actually has an income base. She has an lifetime income that she can trigger at any time, okay, without affecting the hybrid. without affecting the long-term care benefit.
And how do you work with people as far as on the Medicare side? What role do you play in that? Is it simply advice? Is it helping them decide what supplemental plans are good for them? Or how do you work in that context?
Sit down and I do a needs analysis. So it's a thorough needs analysis. I have a conversation. Okay. So again, it's product agnostic. So I sit down with them. I might ask questions like, Jeff and Marge, what are your plans for your retirement future? Okay.
Right.
Let's just say they're clients of mine on the bucket stride, on the income for life model. Well,
okay.
In the now bucket, I'm asking them, do you have major expenses coming up within the next 1 to 5 years? So we need to fund that. Okay. Well, same thing. I need to know. There's a way that you have to ask to be compliant, but you can't ask them, "Are you a sick person?" Basically, you can add. That's not compliant. Basically, what I want to do is I want to do a needs analysis so the client can tell me, okay, based on, obviously sometimes a lot of it has to do with why I'm there. If they're a Medicaid client, so let's just say they have, a Medicaid, single insurance policy, pre-65. I have a client now that I'm talking to. She's a lifelong friend. She's like a little sister to me.
Aww.
She's Medicaid. She's LIS. But she's coming into a big inheritance. So we have to be concerned about that, because you can't be on LIS and have all this money, okay, or Medicaid and have all this money. So, that's where you kind of have to sit down and you have to fine tune things, and that's where you need to have a conversation with the client. So I'm guiding them on, Jeff, would you like me to help you with your prescription drug plan? Okay. And so what I'll do is I'll go over their prescription drugs. I have a client of mine on the financial planning side where her husband had MS. What we did is we found pharmaceutical assistance programs that took a $2,000 a month check that they would have to write for his MS prescriptions to zero.
Whoa.
To zero. Because we helped them vet the pharmaceutical assistance programs.
Wow.
What I'm finding is, this is how deep I take a deep dive.
Yeah.
So it's not only helping you find the best, the most optimal Medicare Advantage plan versus a Medicare Supplement plan. Usually what I like them to do is go through my workshop, much in the same way you like them to go to your two-part, your Asset Protection Trust, your Red Wagon workshop, and then to your Blueprint workshop.
You got it. Yes, sir.
I like them to go through the Medicare workshop and even the Social Security workshop, if nothing else, those two, to understand, how Medicare and Social Security go hand in hand. Because after all, they are deducting the Part B benefit from your Social Security check. And that varies from year to year. That increases from year to year. Okay?
That's amazing.
Most people don't seem to understand that, they seem to think, well, I don't have to worry about that cost. Yes, you do.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
Yes, you do. If your Social Security is being hit $164.90, that's coming out of your Social Security check. That has an impact on your income from your Social Security. So I take that and I say, okay, Jeff, do we want to look at, you're a snowbird. You go to Florida. You go here. You go there. Well, a Medicare Advantage plan may not be the right fit for you based on your situation and your lifestyle. So we might have more of a heavier conversation on Medicare Supplement, because that goes with you anywhere in the United States or its territories. You can rest assured you can have you're covered. Okay.
Well, this was a lot of fun, Sean. I love this podcast. I could spend all day with you. As you know, we love to talk, and you and I have so much fun together.
Thank you.
One more time for the listeners, how would they find you on the web, and what phone number would they reach out to you?
MySafeRetirementSolutions.com, 610-287-4869 is my direct phone number. I'm more than happy to give you my mobile number, which is 484-949-0264. The name of the company that I'm the owner and founder of for over 30 years now is Stonehenge Advisor Group, LLC. We're based out of Collegeville, Pennsylvania, and we work the entire state of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and 13 other states. So.
Well, that's awesome, Sean. Thank you. And thank you to my listeners for being with us today. I have enjoyed this podcast, as always, on the Red Wagon Estate Planning and Elder Law Show. And I'd like to thank you all for being with us. And I hope you enjoyed the conversation with Sean Crowley. It's been a wonderful episode, and I certainly had a lot of fun. If you're looking for information on Bellomo Associates, please reach out to us at 717-845-5390 or check us out on the web at www.bellomoassociates.com. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Red Wagon Estate Planning and Elder Law Show. Until next time, we'll see you real soon.